Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Todd Schultz at Rose Hill High School. For Module 5, I found a wonderful website, public information on Start Class, and it gives an in-depth look at all of the details and all of the data pertaining to the Rose Hill School District and the surrounding community. This is our rocket logo. I think a logo is important for the city pride and backing of programs. It, of course, goes on T-shirts and all other kinds of memorabilia that goes out to the community and on all the school websites. Knowing the customs and traditions of this district, it's very family oriented. I think it's very trustworthy among all of its stakeholders. People are caring and very involved. It is a working class neighborhood, mostly. A lot of people travel from Rose Hill into Wichita to work. They take a lot of pride in their children's education. They are very active in their churches, and there's several within the district, which has a diverse population from different religious backgrounds. They like their traditions and customs, and they like the things the way they are, but they are, I've found, to be open to adjustments as needed. Highly educated for the most part, a lot of graduates of post-secondary education and professional degrees and a lot of professional certifications. The median age is 38, and the mixture of male-female is pretty fair, with males being about 10% higher than females. Occupation, the median income is $72,000, and it is 93% white, 3.1% Hispanic, 1.64% African American, and some other ethnicities in there as well, very small percentages. We do have a local paper the district uses and the organizations use. It's called the Rose Hill Reporter. There's no foreign language used in it that I've ever seen. The local newspaper is a widespread communication method, and we do have obviously local billboards that get out information as well. There's also a Channel 7 news station at the school that is broadcast on the local channel where community members can watch student broadcasts from the school that has school-related messages on it. All of our community history plays a large role in our mentality. We have several local civic organizations from Legion Post to a vet, retirement center, and recreation center and recreation league events. Our cooperation is pretty high between all the community and the students in the school, and also the leaders of the school and the leaders of the community I've found work very well together. In fact, our town mayor also works for our school district. She is in the maintenance department as a secretary and does a very fine job there with her organization skills she takes to the city as the mayor. The leadership has some pretty good attributes that I've found. They're very influential. They have long-term school board members. Our superintendent and veteran community members have been involved for a long period of time in the school. Student organizations, sporting teams, and the budget proposals all are things that the community and the leaders of the community get behind and stay very transparent on. The characteristics, back to their attributes, I've found that they're pretty stable, that they are consistent in that regard for what they stand up for and what they want for the kids here in the district. They're very big on recognition of students. They utilize all of the area expertise. They're kind of having a don't rock the boat mentality I've noticed the last few years. They really want everything to be run pretty smoothly, and I tend to disagree with that on some occasions, because I think sometimes when necessary changes need to be made, you're going to make some people mad, and you do have to be willing to put yourself out there and shake things up a bit if that is necessary. But of course, that is not always the answer, and it's not always the right way to go. But I do find it to be necessary at times. Our economic conditions, pretty positive, $158,000 median home price. We have several businesses and restaurants for people to visit. Our city politics, of course, is a mayor and elected officials, and that is, we get a little bit of money from city taxes, 1% local, and we also get funneled from the state of Kansas, from the federal government on down, $10,187 per student per school year. And that has actually decreased for us the last several years, which is below the state average. We don't have many interracial confrontations. We don't have any gangs that I've ever noticed. The cliques are all normal high school and elementary middle type cliques, just built into social groups, your jocks, your musicians, your artists. But I have noticed that they all get along very well, and they all are out in the community working together for the betterment of Rose Hill. I found a great website for the city of Rose Hill, linked it. I linked the county of Butler, which is what we're in, website. I also linked school board minutes from our last board meeting for extra sources of information. Our power structures, just again, include the local government, the parent organizations, the Board of Education, and church influences. The church influence, I say, is a good thing because they let us use their facilities and we let them use our facilities. And those things go hand in hand when dealing with kids who are attending churches and attending school here. Multicultural issues seem to be handled very well in our district. I've never noticed any one group being excluded. We do have some meetings that take place, and they get multicultural ideas for this kindergarten roundup, for some of the open house ideas, for different foods and music that are not just American English type foods. They do venture east and get into some other things. Our band program does a lot of assignments pertaining to global music, and our concert literature is always trying to reflect as many different cultures as possible. And of course, we do offer foreign language in the form of Spanish. The power structure that we have in the voting population has been 70% Republican in the 2012 presidential election, with 30% voting Democrat. The schools have lived with this situation. I don't think that it puts much influence on the school itself, but I do know that the directives of our school board is sent down to our superintendent and then on to the staff, and that's followed pretty well to a T. And some other things that have come up that we're able to have say with building leadership teams to our superintendent and then on to our school board. The power structure, or the influence structure, I think I could say, is held accountable by parents who live in the community. The parents are also held accountable by the board and staff within the schools. And that comes down whenever we have an issue. We can point to our handbooks and our known policies, and we can hold parents accountable that way. Measuring public opinion, I do know that the school district has sent out reports and marketing for us doing this big bond issue, and I also know that that there was some public opinion polls that were mailed out that people could mail back into the district, telling what kind of things they wanted to see the bond money spent on and what sort of things were important to them. So they gained a basic understanding of the community's desires and where the bond money should be spent. Now, whether or not that was adhered to completely, I could say that I'm certain that it was not, but I also know that they did take that into consideration when making decisions. So all in all, I feel that this district and this community that I teach and work in have a great working relationship, and they are always for the betterment of the student body and the education of their children.